When the clock strikes midnight at the end of December 31st, the first thing many New Year Eve partygoers are likely to hear is the song Auld Lang Syne.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind?
Hello viewers, welcome to the Matter of Facts channel, where you get to learn about some amazing and interesting facts. Why do we sing Auld Lang Syne on New Year's Eve? I'm going to share with you everything we know about the song and how it became part of our tradition. Auld Lang Syne is the tune most frequently associated with the beginning of the new year, even if no one ever seems to know the words all that well, or what they mean. So why exactly is it tradition to sing Auld Lang Syne on New Year's Eve? Let's take a brief look at the history and the facts about the song and explain how it became a holiday staple and what exactly its strange lyrics mean. It's not clear who exactly composed the music for the Scottish folk song, but the lyrics to the song is often a tribute to the poem written by a great Scottish poet, Robert Burns, in 1788, which were then set to an old folk tune. The title may be translated into standard English as Auld Lang Syne, or less literally, long, long ago, days gone by, or old times. Consequently, for Auld Lang Syne, as it appears on the first line of the chorus, might be loosely translated as for the sake of old times. The phrase Auld Lang Syne is also used in similar poems by Robert Ayton, Allan Ramsay, and James Watson, as well as older folk songs predating Burns. Matthew Fitt uses the phrase "in the days of Auld Lang Syne" as the equivalent of "once upon a time" in his retelling of fairy tales in the Scots language. The history of the song itself has a fable-like quality to it. According to robertburns.org, Burns first wrote down Auld Lang Syne in 1788, but the poem did not appear in print until shortly after his death in 1796. It was first published in Volume 5 of James Johnson's Scots Musical Museum. Burns, a major contributor to the compilation, claimed that the words of Auld Lang Syne were taken from an old man singing. However, the song has been associated with Burns ever since. One of the inspirations for the lyrics is likely the 1711 ballad, Auld Lang Syne, which has similar phrases. So, Burns did probably learn the song from the unnamed old man, who probably learned it from somewhere else. Auld Lang Syne became a New Year's tradition in the US thanks to a Canadian band leader. When the Scots immigrated to America in the 19th century, they eventually brought the song with them. But its enormous modern popularity can largely be attributed to Canadian band leader
Guy Lombardo and the Royal Canadians. The sweetest music this side of heaven.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure for us to have so many of you with us.
Long before Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve and the infamous ball drop became an end-of-the-year entertainment tradition, there was the New Year's Eve concert hosted by Lombardo, the last great dance band's leader as Time once called him.
Clairol, the first name in hair color, in behalf of the hairdressers of America, presents Guy Lombardo and his Royal Canadians, direct from the world-famous grill room of the Roosevelt Hotel at 45th Street and Madison Avenue here in New York City. And now, here is Mr. New Year's Eve himself, Guy Lombardo.
Thank you, George Bryan, and ladies and gentlemen, it's certainly wonderful having you all here to help celebrate New Year's Eve at the Roosevelt Grill.
His annual end-of-the-year New Year's Eve concert in New York City, which began in 1929, became an institution, first on radio, then TV. Lombardo's rendition of Auld Lang Syne marked the nation's rite of passage from the old year to the new. He was so synonymous with the holiday that he was eventually nicknamed Mr. New Year's Eve, and the rest of the world just followed suit. If the song weren't played on New Year's Eve, a deep unease would run through a large segment of American populace, a conviction that, despite evidence on every calendar, the new year had not really arrived. But where did Lombardo get the idea to make the song part of his New Year's Eve repertoire? In 1965, he explained how he came to associate Auld Lang Syne with the end of the year to Life magazine. Auld Lang Syne is our theme song. It was long before anyone ever heard of us on the radio. In our particular part of Western Ontario, where there are a large Scottish population, it was traditional for bands to end every dance with Auld Lang Syne. We didn't think it was known here. When we left Canada, we had no idea we'd ever play it again. The band moved east from Chicago in the fall of 1929 to New York. They played at the Roosevelt Grill in the city at the Roosevelt Hotel. By then, the band's radio broadcast and having the first nationwide New Year's Eve broadcast popularized Auld Lang Syne and had given the band a huge following. People then and as now thought the song was cheesy, to which Lombardo told the magazine, "Call it corny, I don't care." On December 31st, 1956, the Royal Canadian Band did their first New Year's TV special on CBS. This included a live segment from Times Square. Although CBS carried most of Lombardo's New Year's specials from 1965 to 1970, the special was syndicated live to individual TV stations instead of broadcast on the network.
What does this song mean? My whole life, I don't know what this song means.
It's a famous conversation in the movie When Harry Met Sally. What exactly is Auld Lang Syne? While the lyrics still a little confusing, it is believed that the opening line of the song are meant to be rhetorical. Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgotten and Auld Lang Syne? Apparently, that means we should have a drink in honor of whatever is passing and remember old friends. The most common usage of the song involves only the first verse in the chorus. The last lines of both are often sung with extra words, for the sake of, or and the days of, rather than Burns' simpler lines. This allows one note for each. The tune to which Auld Lang Syne is commonly sung is a pentatonic Scots folk melody, probably originally a sprightly dance in a much quicker tempo. The song originally had another melody, which can be traced to around 1700. It was deemed mediocre by Robert Burns. The famous melody was first used in 1799 in the second volume of George Thompson's Select Songs of Scotland. Older versions of the original song, which use other melodies, have survived in isolated Scottish communities. The American folk song collector James Madison Carpenter collected a version of Auld Lang Syne, which appears to be distantly related to the original folk song version from a man named William Steele of Cummington, Ayrshire in the early 1930s. William still can be heard singing the song on the Vaughan Williams Memorial Library website. As well as celebrating the New Year, Auld Lang Syne is very widely used to symbolize other endings and new beginnings, including farewells, funerals, and other memorials of the dead, graduations, the end of a non-New Year party, jamborees of the Scout movement, the election of a new government, the last lowering of the Union Jack as a British colony, and even as a signal that a retail store is about to close for the day. The melody is also widely used for other words, especially hymns, the songs of sporting and other clubs, and even national anthems such as that of South Korea in the 1940s. In Scotland and other parts of Britain in particular, it is associated with the celebration and memorials of Robert Burns. Hey guys, did you know that the Auld Lang Syne song has such a deep history? Please let us know in the comment section if you did or didn't. Thank you for watching the video, and please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Until then, we'll see you next time.